Hey everyone, we're going to go over the fake news and fact checking assignment really quick. So it's a three-part assignment. In part one, you're going to watch a TED Talk from a high school journalist who will talk about how she has learned to spot fake news. And I found that that was a very relevant thing. So when you click on um, this link, it'll take you to a YouTube video. You just need to watch the video, and I would maybe jot down some notes. Just a tip, and this goes with any link, including just doc links and video links. If you just click right here on the image itself, it'll open a little preview, and then you can kind of watch down here in the corner your notes and your answers up here. So just make sure you meet that length requirement of 3 to 5 sentences for part one. Part two is going to be article of the week style, how to spot fake news. It's an article from 2016, so keep that in mind as you read. It's going to be making references to political topics that were relevant in 2016. But overall, it ended up being a really good, balanced article about how to spot fake news and what people were doing in order to spread misinformation. So this is from factcheck.org, which is a source that you'll use in part three, one of the sources that you'll use in part three. So as you read, mark your confusion by changing the font to red, and then show evidence of a close reading and add comments throughout the entire article. You should have 3 or 4 comments per page, except for the last page of this, which is only half a page. You only have a couple of comments on there. And then finally, you're going to write a 2-paragraph reflection. And what you'll notice for your reflection throughout the article is a bunch of bolded words. I want you to try and make use of those vocabulary words, because that's the type of language that we should be using when we talk about fake news and misinformation. So try to make use of the bolded words that you see throughout the article that are mostly towards the beginning of the article. And then you're going to write your reflection down here. Now, that should take you most of the first day working on this assignment. Whatever you don't finish, you'll have time in class to work on next time. And part three, I want you guys to take your time on this, because this is my favorite part of this assignment, and that is to look at the different fact-checking websites, such as factcheck.org, which is where our article from part two is from. And when you're looking at factcheck.org, what you're going to want to make sure you do is you can search topics, say climate change, and you'll be able to find like archives from factcheck.org, but you'll also be able to find like recent news articles. This one looks like it's from August, and it'll give you kind of a breakdown of fact-checked information about that topic. And they also have an Ask SciCheck, so you can ask these like common topics that people are discussing. Is this real? Is this misinformation? So the one that's displayed here is, are vaccinated and boosted people more susceptible to infection or disease with the Omicron variant than unvaccinated people? So that's a highly controversial topic, controversial question, and then it gives you the fact-checked information right there. So factcheck.org is a great place to find information that has been fact-checked and peer-reviewed, and use that for lots of research purposes. Allsides.com, I mainly use allsides.com to check out the media bias. So that link will take you to the media bias chart, and you'll be able to see how these popular news sites are ranked in terms of their bias. If they're far left or if they're far right, those are the ones that you want to steer clear of. You want things that are more towards the center, even if it's left or right leaning. They're going to be pushing some sort of agenda a little bit with their bias, but they're going to have less of an agenda and less aggressive language when they're presenting information. And you can see that obviously BBC, when it comes to left or right, they don't care about American politics, and so they're going to just kind of tell it how it is and give us the most relevant information as possible. Also, Associated Press, that kind of bounces back and forth between center and left leaning. It just depends on what people are talking about in the current climate. So media bias. You can also, if you go to their news section, it'll give you a topic, a headline. It'll say this is what people are talking about from each of these different sides. and what you want to find is something that's ranked a little bit more centered. They change their rankings constantly, and it comes from hundreds of people verifying and ranking these different news sources. And so you'll want to make sure that you check those out, see what people are discussing, and what the right is saying versus what the left is saying, and then you can kind of make your own decision. And that's how we should live our life every day. Another source is PolitiFact. PolitiFact is somewhat similar to factcheck.org, except it specifically has like statements or questions that somebody posted or somebody published this, and then they kind of rank it as mostly true. So Dave Grohl, who is the lead singer for the Foo Fighters, he said Canada is to thank for American football. So apparently Canada invented American football, and that's mostly true. But then there's more controversial topics, such as misinformation about the Michigan State University shooter, and it says this is absolutely false. This is from a Facebook post, and they'll go through and they'll tell you what the actual truth is. So this is a really cool website. You can look at what people are talking about, what people are arguing about, and it'll rank it as in true, mostly true, false, or pants on fire. This is absolutely wrong. So check those out, find some articles. And then Snopes. Snopes is another one that was referenced in part 2 in that article. Very similar to factcheck.org. It'll have featured stories, and it'll fact check different topics, but it will also tell you, if I can find it, fact checks. So it'll take a topic and it will give you a breakdown. So trying to find a good one. So something about the NFL and the NBA listing crimes from Congress. Are they actually doing this? And this is false. And so they kind of address that claim, and they'll give you a breakdown of where that claim came from and how they were able to fact check that information. So again, with part 3, you're going to write a reflection, but make sure that you locate specific articles. At least one that isn't quite credible and one that is credible, and discuss what you learned from those articles and from these websites in part 3. So that's a breakdown of the fake news and fact-checking website, or the fake news and fact-checking assignment, as well as the websites down at the end. So good luck and have fun.